conservation. So under conservation, when you're trying to call on those policies, we can waive the premium for up to 3 months in order to try to conserve it. So if that functionality exists and is already the technology in place, why don't we offer that to franchises down the line of all the employees, and you offer a premium waiver on the franchise as opposed to a premium waiver on each person?
Sure.
When you're trying to conserve it individually. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, hey, it's everybody. We're just waiting on Brian. Brian's logging on.
Yvette, you look so professional.
She can't hear us yet.
Her audio's not on yet.
There she is. Hi, Babette.
Hi, I had to figure out the audio.
That's all right.
Welcome, everybody. Is Brian? Oh, Brian's not on yet. He's logging in, he says.
I just got done setting up my Zoom stuff because I don't know if that Join Me is going to be available all next week for me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking to Diana. I am going to go ahead and just pick up a Join Me account and a Zoom account. It seems like the Zoom is best for the actual meetings, these type meetings. The Join Me, the advantage there is when we're doing the virtual presentation thing on the phone. So when we send the text message, you can click on it and it takes you much faster to actually seeing my screen than Zoom does. So that's why we went that route. Does that make sense? So when we were trying to set up the, hey, I just need 5 minutes with you, but it's evolved, and we'll talk about that today anyway. Let's face it, most of us are selling on the phone now versus the visual aid. We may be texting pictures or we may be emailing, and those are the kind of things we'll talk about. We're not married to a certain process. We're married to getting a result. So that's why we want to talk about what we're doing that is getting a good result, and then we can take those things and meld it into more of a process that gets us what we want. So, and if Brian would get on, we would get started.
Yeah, what is he logging into? Email?
Join Me. He's logging in to Join Me.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, what the heck?
Just kidding. Do you have dial-up?
Maybe.
He said he's trying to get on right now.
Yeah, he said logging on. That was like 3 minutes ago. Okay.
Well, we might have to start without him.
I was gonna say.
No, we're gonna run out of 40 minutes.
We'll give him 60 seconds. You got 60 seconds. Just enough time for me to write out everybody's name. For me to be able to take notes by heading here. Okay, so
Your finger hurts. Do you need the Band-Aid?
It's just
all right, so I'll just kind of lay out the format. There's not really a format for it other than what we're going to come up with. What I'm trying to accomplish here is go around and have each person give me 2 things you think in this virtual process that you're having success with. And there's things that in my head, I feel that you're having success with just in looking at the numbers and conversation and these kind of things. But what the data tells me and what you think can be two different things. So I'm more interested in hearing a couple of things you think that are going well for you, and then your biggest challenge point in the virtual process, okay? And what I'll do is I'll get the two things from you first and then the challenge, and we're gonna go down the line that way. Then we'll go back and we'll actually talk about the things that you are having success with, and then we'll talk about the things you're having a challenge with. And when we do it in that format, then I know the things that you feel solid with, and I know the one thing you really want help with. Ideally, what we uncover here is maybe you have somebody that feels more solid at what you think is a challenge for you, and now we can pair that conversation together. Does that make sense? Okay, so, Brian, no. I'm disappointed in your lack of cleverness to my response. Okay, so we will start with Miss Amanda. So Amanda, give me two things right now that you feel like, okay, I'm having some success. I'm pushing the rock with these two things in the virtual side. When I say virtual side, I mean prospecting, which is setting appointments or giving presentation, or setting up enrollments, or doing virtual enrollment. Those are really the things. Wait a minute. I saw Brian for a second. Anybody else see Brian?
There's a blip.
I feel confident in setting.
Hey, wait, hold on one second. Let me catch him up. Let me give him the 60-second. All right. We got an audio. We got to wait for the audio, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know if he can hear you or not.
Brian, can you hear us?
Nope.
No. Can you hear us, Brian? Push the button.
Down here.
The best part is when you go to like a community choir and all these old people are like trying to tell their friends like how to turn on the computer and they're like 80 years old. That's what I did last week. I was like, oh God, it's actually over this way.
Oh, this way? Mine was down on the left-hand corner.
Yeah, yours is you have to choose mirror.
Connecting
There it
audio.
goes.
Here we
There
go.
we go.
Yeah.
There we
go. You guys
All right.
Like, what the hell are you guys looking at?
So let me dive in. Brian, just kind of share with you what we're doing. Gonna go around and get two things that you think you're having some success with in the virtual realm, which is like appointment setting or giving presentation. That would be one. Second one would be setting up enrollments. And then the third thing would be the actual enrollment, the virtual enrollment process itself, selling of the insurance. Those are really the three things that I think we want to focus on. So I'll get two things from you that you feel like, yeah, I'm making a little headway on this, I think. And then what your biggest challenge point is, you think, in those three processes. Make sense?
Sure thing.
Okay. All right. So back to Amanda. Amanda, the two things you feel now that we've gotten a little bit of experience under the belt, two things you think, hey, I'm having some success in this area.
I feel good setting the enrollments, and then I feel good actually enrolling. But of course, I think I can do better. So I'm excited to hear what I can get from other people.
All right. So then tell me, Amanda, what is your biggest challenge right now in those three aspects of the virtual process?
Well, I have two virtual enrollments, one tomorrow, and then I have to finish the one tomorrow next week, and then I have another one next week. So the one, I've only done one virtual enrollment, and it went really well. The majority of people that I talked to enrolled, and I had to actually talk to a bunch of people that I wrote apps on in person, and then the e-app lost them. So I had to get all that information again, which I did. So that was good. So I had to do that virtually, but that was not hard. but the majority of the selling was just over the phone. Like nobody hooked up to their computer and like saw anything. It was just me verbally selling and them agreeing to it over the phone. And then I sent them the email and they agreed to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we'll come back to that. I know we're gonna touch on that. Darla, I know you got something to say on that too. I got you. Okay. But before we start the discussion, we want to go through this process so we have all our points to talk about. Otherwise, it'll turn into a mass conversation, and we'll cover one topic today in an hour. So, so what would you define as your biggest challenge, Amanda, in the process?
I mean, I like the resources that we have available to get them on the computer to look at them. I just haven't done it yet. So I was hoping to hear, other people's experience.
Use of all technologies available.
Right.
Okay. All right. Brian, give me the two things you think, hey, I'm making some traction here, and then the biggest challenge that you're having inside of those three headings I gave you for virtual.
So two things we're doing pretty well on. Honestly, I'm giving the employee options. Like I'll give them an option if they want to follow along on the computer. I have been having some glitches with that though. Like some people will drop out or they're, I don't know. I've had two people that dropped out of the thing and then they couldn't log back in. So I tell them that they can screen mirror me. They can do it that way. I do it over the phone. Or if they'd like, I email them the brochures first. And then I just do all the selling, just do all the talking on the phone. And then I have them, will you open the cancer endurance, brochure I sent you? And then we'll go through that. Or will you open the group term line life, slide, and then we'll go through that together. So those are the three different ways that I've been doing. As far as the struggles, it's really just getting people to answer back. Honestly, I kind of was telling you about that on the phone yesterday. It seems to be rough on the aspect of just getting.
Oh yeah, that's
text back or call back. So, but otherwise, when I get them on the phone, it seems like I can get some type of a sale. But I told you too, the enrollments that I'm working with right now we're captive. I mean, we can only sell 2 products, so
yeah. So if you had a full product base, it would be an even better process, especially if you had ICU plan.
But we've been doing well with that too. So I mean, it seems pretty good. And then I'm as far as the presentations going, side of things, just waiting on paperwork.
Dean closed the case. How was that a virtual situation?
Yeah. So she's waiting on 3 sets of paperwork. So if we can just get the paperwork back, we should have 3 closed cases. So waiting on that.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Under the heading of I feel like I'm doing good here, enrolling. If you get people on, you can get them to buy, and that's part of the deal right now. Where we have awareness. People are definitely aware. I think we lost Darla.
She did.
Yeah.
Say what?
She fell off. She probably lost her signal.
So you said Christine has 3 closed cases that she's waiting on, and did she present virtually?
So 2 of the 3 I presented virtually over the phone doing Join Me, and then we're just waiting on paperwork. She's been following up with them and waiting on paperwork. The other one that she closed, she presented to like several weeks ago and then re-presented to the spouse on the phone. She did it all on her own. So she's waiting for paperwork on that one too. It's while we're on the phone and we send them the paperwork, and I even took the section 125 and I highlighted where they needed to sign, and I saved it. So I sent it to them and they got it. So I went and sent it back yet. But we should get at least 2 this week, I would assume. The other girl's pregnant, so we're kind of waiting on whenever it kind of works for her.
So I got you down as enrolling and closing, and we'll circle back where we'll have you answer questions, and then. So hey, welcome back, Darla. Welcome back.
And this is why I don't do computer virtual enrollment. I'm back.
So Brian, he feels strong on the enrolling aspect, and the he's got some closed cases, so that's good. And then challenges, response to his phone call or text message to get people to actually want to talk to him. Okay, so Babette, let's talk about, give me 2 things you feel you're having some success with on the virtual side of things.
I feel I feel that we're having success with being able to get in contact with more people than we usually would be able to, because I know that I can get in touch with more people than I would be normally able to get in touch with than in the field, especially with geographic constraints, definitely. And because of, where I'm at. And then definitely I'm able to get more people back on the schedule given the situation fell off. So that's a lot of success with that. And then the issues that I'm running into so far, the one thing probably would just be getting in touch with just the remote situation, trying to get the right contact information to get in touch with people. That would be the one blocker I'm running into.
And if I could add, I know like on our team call, you were saying that the biggest objection is the gatekeeper won't give the number to reach the DM. They want to take your number and then give it to them.
Yes.
And we don't really have an objection for that.
Right.
And the webinars, they haven't covered that either. So
contact info to get to the DM.
Yeah, like the gatekeepers, like, I don't feel comfortable giving you the decision makers info, or I can't give it to you, but I can take your information and give it to them.
Right.
And it's just to the gatekeeper, which normally in the field we wouldn't do that, or we try not to.
Right.
We'll just come back. But in this case, so it's like, we don't really know the best practice to overcome.
About contact information to DM, and then what else? When you say contact information, just what we're talking about here to the DM, or contact information in terms of trying to reach out to employees?
That one I have not had an issue for. Even so, with setting up a virtual enrollment, I was able to get a workaround with that. So with the one virtual enrollment I had, initially, whenever I asked for the phone numbers, he was going to give that to me, but then he felt uncomfortable with that. He thought that maybe his employees would be uncomfortable with getting the phone numbers, but I talked him into giving me the email, and he said they would be fine with that. And he said that way, if they wanted to give me the phone numbers, they could give me the phone number. So we worked that one out. Okay, that was fine. But now virtual prospecting, even working through the script, which would be the using the direct line would transfer me to the DM, and then talking through is there a better way to get in touch with so-and-so? And they will tell me either, well, we're all working remotely, so I don't have a way to transfer you to him. Or they will say, I'm not comfortable with providing you with that information. Those are the lines I'm being given. So there's not a way to work around that we're being provided with. So they're asking me to provide my information so they can give that to the DM.
Okay, so we will circle back to that. Diane, I saw you making a note. I assume that was hey, how do we rebut this?
Yes.
I also wrote need an email template to the employees to get their contact numbers. In other words, like you were saying, Babette, they gave you the email, not the phone number. So then you had to send an email to try to get them to respond back with their phone number so you could have a contact.
Right.
When you did that, did you already do that?
Yes, I did.
What kind of response did you get in terms of sending the email out and then giving you back the contact information?
I'm still waiting on that. I just did that today.
Okay.
So
we're yet to be determined, which is fine. We're just I'm interested in the data side of it. So all right. So Diana, I'll talk with you about coming up with just something scripting wise that I would think that I could put as an email, and we can add it into training. All right, Ms. Darla. So give me 2 things you feel like you're having success with, and then give me a challenge, and we will go from there.
So far I've had pretty good success in setting appointments with the employees, and the percentage of my sales in the enrollments. I feel like that's going pretty well.
Yeah.
Enrolling all around. I've had very good participation from the payroll clerk, from all the way through, from the payroll clerk to the employees in an enrollment. Challenges are, I would say, probably just myself. I'll leave that there.
And technology and connection
Well,
issues.
I don't know. I mean, technology
The
is
connection
never my
issues.
strong suit anyway. So I feel like, you know, doing it over the phone is probably the easiest way to do it anyway. And it's working well for me. So I can imagine though, in maybe some different types of businesses and different areas in the city, maybe I could see people wanting that to be their enrollment style. But luckily I don't have that problem. So
Yeah. Well, listen, you've done a fantastic job on the two things that I wrote down here. Enrolling, your participation in the phone calls when you actually have them on the phone, and then you're getting people to respond to you.
Yeah.
You can't sell insurance if they won't talk to you. So
Right.
all right. So here's what we'll do then. We'll go back in the order that we started with. Now that everybody has heard things that you feel people have as a strong suit, and then where the challenges are. So as we circle back and we go to Amanda, you'll break down the things that you are doing that you think are helping you in the two aspects that you feel you're doing well in, and then field some questions, right? Then we talk about the thing that you're having a challenge with, and that we get suggestion from other people on, have we tried this? Can we do this? And that way we're all trying to help everybody get better. So right now you're having success setting the enrollments. Tell me, in setting the enrollments, what do you think you're doing that's allowing you to have success at that?
I'm honestly just using the script, and it's working setting. I know I texted Darla asking about the employee letter, because I just edited, I put my information in it so the employee could contact me directly if they want. But other than that, I was just asking her if she changed it, like the letter that the employer sends to the people before you contact them. But the ones that I've booked, I've honestly just used the script. And I mean, you build rapport first, see how things are going, and then you kind of transition saying, you know, we've made adjustments due to, you know, everything that's going on, and then you just use the script and it works. So I haven't really ran into any rebuttals, except I had one franchise that said that my contact person isn't the owner, so they did have to run it by the owner, and the owner said he would prefer me seeing everybody in person because he knows I'll have better success, which, I mean, I agree, I will. And he says he has to do you guys, but I should say I had two franchises that told me that. But the ones that I have been able to book, I mean, other than that, I really am not getting too much pushback. And it's just the script. The script really does work.
Okay.
So,
and
I'm getting contact information just fine. So
setting the enrollments, it's all about actually making the phone call. And I hear, and just, I've been able to set a few myself. So I wanted to, in the very beginning of this thing, I wanted to start making phone calls so I could feel what you guys would feel and hear what you were hearing. And the best way, it seems, and to your point, Amanda, is don't make it a deal if it's not a deal. If you address it right out of the gate, it becomes a deal. If you just go to book the enrollment, and by the way, we have this virtual option available, hey, would Tuesday of next week work for? That's your best approach. And then it becomes a negotiation and less of a shutdown situation. So, all right, enrolling. So let's talk about, you've had some success on the enrolling on the phone. Take me through how you're actually enrolling people. I think we can all agree that we love the technology. Diana did a fantastic job on the Join Me, on the enrolling process and being able to see it on the phone. And I know that that is being done with some people, but I also understand that it seems that maybe 75% of the sales are coming from me just talking to you. I'm just having a phone call with you, and you like what I have to say, and you decide to sign up. So Amanda, you can speak to that, or you can tell me things that you are doing, like sending them picture text messages, or, and one of the things I would want to know is, why are they talking to you? And what I mean by that is, why do they feel comfortable buying insurance from you on the phone, and that you're not the princess of Abu Dhabi, and you want them to send you their routing account number, and you're going to send them $2 million of their inheritance, that you are a legitimate conversation.
So the franchise that I enrolled, because I've only done one full franchise from start to finish virtually enrolling, but that franchise, I did go there in person. I did an employee presentation to all the employees. So they all met me already. And then what happened was I started to enroll some of them, and those were the apps that the e-app deleted. And then I had like a little more than half that I was supposed to go back and see. Well, then all this coronavirus stuff happened, and then they had to shut down because they're not an essential business. So I just called the lady, and I was like, I just told her, now we have this virtual way that I can reach out to everybody, and she was perfectly fine with it. So then they have a group text message where everybody in the workplace is on the same group chat. So she texted everybody, and then she sent out the email. So then when I called, everybody knew I was calling. So and then I think it's important too, after they send it, like calling the very next day. Don't call, like the one I'm calling tomorrow, all the employees are getting informed today. So then I'm calling to book the appointments with everyone tomorrow. So I think that's important, but everybody knew I was going to be reaching out to them, so they were open to it. They had already, there were a couple that weren't at the employee presentation, but even they were open to it because they knew I was going to be reaching out. And then I basically just did the exact same thing I would do in person, but I just did the verbiage over the phone. And I actually like what Brian said about emailing them brochures and then having them open them. I did not do that. I just went through it over the phone, and they were like, okay, yeah. So
okay.
I think the only thing that I didn't like I didn't get through too many products. Like it was just life insurance for their family, or it was like the cancer plan, or just the cancer plan and accident. It wasn't like, sometimes I would go over more benefits in person, I think, but I think just because of the time frame. So.
No, that's good. Okay. So here in about 5 minutes,
Yes.
we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll log back in because we're about to exhaust in 8 minutes and 15 seconds, or 40 minutes on this link, I guess. So
we'll just log right back in, and then.
Yeah, we'll just log back in. So Diana, you're just going to create another.
I think you can use the same one. Let's try to use the same one, and if not, I'll email you real quick.
Okay. All right. So we'll
just try to
start with Amanda, and then we'll go. Okay. So those are the positive things. I want you guys to be able to ask Amanda some questions now, and then we'll talk about the challenge. So we'll do it in a rotation. So Babette, any questions based on Amanda's feedback on the two things she feels like she's being solid on? No? Okay. Darla?
No,
Questions for Amanda?
sounds good.
Okay. Brian, questions for Amanda?
Nope, not for right now.
You guys are talkative. Okay. Amanda, questions for yourself? So
No.
the reality is we're
Well, I do
getting
have one
data.
thing.
We've done a few of these. We haven't done a ton. So I'd like to continue to do this again as we get more and more data. Right now, this is just kind of feeling out the few that we've done. But I want to identify any things that are positive or things we need to stay away from as we start to pick up momentum so we can get as fast at it as we possibly can. Go ahead, Brian.
I was talking, this is for Amanda here. You said you were running out of time on some time constraints for, like, you know, you hit the life and then you go to the cancer. The last 2 enrollments that I had, I mean, I didn't have great participation with the employees, but the ones that I did do, like, I got them on the hook for the cancer plan. And then once I told them, okay, that's great, you got the cancer endurance for your family. But for an extra $2.50, you know, semi-monthly, you can add $1,000 a day of an ICU plan as a rider to that plan. Is that something that interests you? And then almost a no-brainer. Like, I've sold so many ICU plans just by just saying it's a rider for $2.50 and it's going to cover any ICU for any illness or anything like that, just $1,000 a day. And
I like that. That's
I don't
good.
really have to explain it besides just like send, and I'm going to be like, hey, I'm also going to attach a brochure with that too, with your cancer plan whenever we get through all this, but you can read through it some more. But, you know, for $2, because it's so cheap, that ICU stuff's so cheap, but it's just easy way to throw that on there. Just
Okay.
to yeah. I
I
mean,
didn't realize it was that cheap.
It's super
it's
cheap.
yeah.
Oh,
It's like $10 a month for like a family plan if you're under the age of 40.
oh, as a family plan?
Yeah, it's super cheap.
It's super cheap.
Oh,
It's not
wow,
much AP,
okay.
but it's just something to throw on there. And you actually, what is it, like you get 42 points on an ICU or something like that? It's actually a decent pay on it, so.
And that's not even as a rider, but you
I
throw
just,
it,
yeah, because
you say it as a rider.
yeah,
now.
because it's just right there. So you just click the other box over there. So
Okay.
I've done that on the last like 4 or 5 people that I had, and then they were like, yeah, might as well. You don't know what's going on with this stuff going
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, it's good.
Good.
To save
So-
some time. It's going through that whole slide on the ICU. Really, the only thing that matters is $1,000 a day. You know, going through there. And
Yeah.
then pay hospital bills afterwards. So.
Okay.
Diana, any questions for Amanda?
No, we had a team call yesterday, so I asked a couple questions, and I'm not shy about asking questions. Am I, Amanda?
No.
So Amanda, under challenge, I put use of all technologies available. So the reality is I want to have all of the technologies available all the way to the point of the virtual, like what we have, like what was built with Join Me. But we learned quickly that there better be other options. And so now when people go through training, it's here's the Join Me option. Here's the we will email you information option. And here is the we will text message picture you some options. So now there's training for how much technology do they have access to and how much technology are they comfortable with. If you're comfortable enough for me to share my screen with you and send you this link, then I can do that. If all you want to do is talk to me on the phone and when we're done, you want me to text message over you a couple pictures of the policies that you just got so I can send you the virtual handouts, then that's cool, we'll do that. So now we've got all 3 of those in place. I don't know if we don't just ask the person, how would you like to go through this? How would you, I can do this, this, or this. I don't know if we want to add any more decisions that they have to make right out of the gate to us, but I think giving people options in the beginning to find out what they think is easiest, at least shows concern. 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
I think we are asking them that though. Whenever we're at the very beginning of the script and you're talking to the employee, you're saying, is your phone or your computer more accessible to you right now? And then, you know, would you like me to email you or text you a link? So we are asking those questions. And then I guess what's happening, right, Amanda, is that they're just saying, you know, I just don't have access to that right now. Can you just walk me
Okay.
through it? Or I'm not comfortable with trying to follow along, or I can't, like I get on there, but then it falls off. So then I think we are asking that question. It's just a matter of what they're most comfortable with.
And so what we
Yeah.
are hearing is effectively just talk to me on the phone and you can send me something.
I haven't dealt with any newer cases yet that don't know me, but all the personal cases that I have been rolling, everybody's already at least known me or knows my voice. So when I'm talking to them, they have that trust a little bit. So I think that's a little bit easier. But I think if on some newer cases, it might be a little bit different. But that's kind of why I send out that email first. It's got my signature and my picture all in it, so they know who they're talking with.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference in the scheduling of re-enrollment if you've been in front of those employees and we've never talked to, never seen these people. I think it's less important with the re-enrollment people that there's something other than just me calling you and we go through the phone together because you know I'm Brian and how you doing, man? Hope family's great, and we can go through everything. The new people, I think there's something there if they can see you, if there's something physical that they can, oh, you're a real person. Okay. And we'll talk about that here in a second. That, Diana, that's a good lead into one of the things they gave me at the AO meeting on sending the link and giving the hand wave. All right. So we'll log off and then you're muted.
Oh, that's because the dog was barking.
I'm like, only your lips are moving.
Okay,
We're gonna
so
get
we'll try to
dropped
log
off here.
back in the same link.
We're gonna try it, yeah.
If not, then Diana will send us all out a new link. Okay.